DBT, Distress Tolerance 2. As we said in the last session, distress tolerance skills are about getting us through crisis situations and overwhelming emotions without making a situation worse. They're not a cure for all problems or to reduce negative emotions, but merely to survive things when we can't change them. The first set of skills we're going to cover are the distraction skills. These are to help you get through when a problem can't be solved or when distress can't be helped, instead of automatically responding in emotional mind. Distraction skills are to be used rather than avoiding, which stops you from being able to work through the problem and makes things worse. Remember the acronym WISE Mind Accepts. The A in accept stands for activities. Engaging in activities which are opposite to the negative emotions or crisis urges reduces emotional arousal, which drives crisis behaviours. They distract your attention and fill your short-term memory with different thoughts, images and sensations which counteract the thoughts which activate the negative emotion. This works at a physiological to reduce bodily responses to distress and reduces the likelihood of unhelpful behavioural responses. Some examples of activities are exercise, hobbies, cleaning, going out for a meal, walking, gardening, reading a book, etc. An idea is to make a list and put it on your fridge so that you can quickly find an activity if you need to. The first C in accepts is contributing. Contributing to someone else's well-being helps refocus your attention from yourself onto helping others and helps you forget your problems for a while. For some people, this also increases a sense of meaning in life and enhances self-respect. It can be something as simple as doing a friend a favour, or doing some volunteer work, making something nice for someone else, or doing a surprising or thoughtful thing for someone. The next C is comparisons. Making comparisons between yourself and others coping in the same way, or those who are coping less than yourself or comparing the situation to a more difficult one than your own, can help get a sense of perspective and cast your situation in a more positive light. For example, thinking, I got through this before, I can do it again. You could also watch soap operas or documentaries. Some people find this helpful, but some don't. So if you don't find it helpful, don't use it. The E in accept stands for emotions, but we're looking at opposite emotions. This means generating different emotions to distract from the current situation and negative emotion. For example, if you feel angry or sad, think back to a happy or funny memory, or watch a video you find funny. This then interferes with the current negative emotion. You can't get away from emotions by demanding or using willpower alone. We need to make an active choice to use an activity which sets off a different emotion from the one that's currently causing pain. However, this requires you to first figure out the current emotion and then find out which is the opposite. Some examples are reading a story, an old letter, watching a rom-com or an emotive movie, read a joke book, or you could go to a shop and read greeting cards or look at funny YouTube videos. The P in accept stands for pushing away. This means physically leaving the situation or blocking it from one's mind. Leaving the situation decreases contact with the emotional cues associated with the situation. Blocking is associated with dissociation or depersonalization. It can be useful as a survival strategy, but when it persists, it becomes unhelpful. It should only be used in an emergency and only temporarily. You're putting your pain aside until you're calmer and better able to deal with it. For example, build an imaginary wall between yourself and others, or put your emotions in a box and put them on the shelf. This could be done in your mind or physically. Try drawing some images that relate to your worries on paper and put them in an envelope. Notice if you start to ruminate. The point is that you need to give yourself a chance to live with your life without distress, but it's important that it be dealt with it when you're less worked up. The T in accept stands for thoughts. By distracting ourselves with other thoughts, we fill our short-term memory so that the ones triggering the negative emotion do not continue to reactivate the emotion. For example, count to 10, count clouds, count colours in a painting, watch TV. The trick is to refocus your attention on something else, to ride out the wave of emotion to get to a more manageable point. This is good in an emergency and as a quick way of distracting your thoughts. The S in accept stands for sensations. Other intense sensations can interfere with the physiological component of the current negative emotion. These sensations work to focus attention onto something other than the stimuli arousing the emotion. For example, holding ice cubes in your hand or frozen peas on your neck can be very helpful for some, but it's very important that this isn't overused as an avoidance strategy. Have a think about some situations where using distraction skills might be effective. Compare the outcome to what would have happened had you not used them.